excited to have some special guests with us today.
I'm very excited.
Please be respectful and attentive audience. I know you will be. We're just going to kind of let things happen organically, I think, right? Mm-hmm. And whatever we want to talk about, or wherever we want to go with things, we'll go. So it's Alicia.
Yes.
And say your last name for us again.
Olatuja.
Olatuja. Alicia Olatuja is here, and your concert is tonight.
Yes.
And it's here with the Sioux Falls Jazz and Blues Society. So we'll turn it right on over.
Well, hey!
Hi!
Well, I'm super excited to be here, and this is David Roosevelt, my guitarist. He's like my right-hand man. You know, between the two of us, we have so many crazy experiences, so I want to leave it open for you guys to be able to ask us and pluck whatever you want from our experiences. But I'm super excited to be here. This weather is crazy. I saw people running, screaming into school. I get the screaming going into school, but the running to and screaming doesn't make sense. So I opened the door and I was like, okay, I get it. So I'm really glad to be here. It was great seeing, I don't know how many of you in here were just in the choir from the previous hour, but I just loved it. I loved it. It just brings back so many memories. When I did, what's the name of your choreography? Show choir, okay. Ours had like some lame name. I don't even remember what it was, but we did cool stuff too, but we were doing, I don't know if you guys ever saw Sister Act 2 with Lauren Hill. We did Joyful, Joyful. That was our tune. And I remember I really fought for that solo in the beginning. It was a whole scandal. The whole thing was crazy. But so anyway, you brought back memories. So I'm here to provide you with any insight, stories. We got them, believe me. And I remember every single step in between. So if you have any questions, also I would love to hear you all sing. And if any of you, hey. One guy's like. If anybody has a solo that they would like to sing and just get some input, I'm here. Let's just make the most of it. But for the most part, I'm here mainly for just questions, answers, and Dave as well, examples, all that kind of cool stuff. So don't be shy. I don't think you guys are the shy kind. I'm not getting that in the air. So whatever you want to ask, go ahead. Yes?
How do you like the snow?
The snow? Well, originally I'm from Missouri, so this ain't got nothing on Missouri. Missouri snow is like you like, it's crazy. But New York snow is cool, and then it's just not. And then all of a sudden people are stranded, and they're up to their waist, and where the dump trucks push the snow. And also in New York, it's really beautiful when it snows for 5 minutes, and then the snow is just black. It's just come on, it's New York. And then it's yellow. So I like the snow. Yes. Any other questions? Yes. Just feel free. Just anything.
If you're going to write an autobiography on your life, what would you be?
Ooh. That is good. I always love that stuff. I love that stuff. I didn't think about that. I got these really crazy questions the last time I did somebody asked me if I were to be any other substance, like a gas or liquid or solid, or what I want to be. That's it. I was I'll get back to you on that. Wow, what would I name it? Well, I think I would probably wait a little bit, because I think over time, then maybe I'll have a better idea. If I were to write it now, I'd probably have some crazy title. So maybe I'd wait a little bit. But if I were to write it right now, dang. Well, you know what? I think when I do my albums, that's kind of like my autobiography set to music in a sense. And so whatever that title of the album is, kind of what I'm going through. Right now, I'm in a very transformative kind of phase. So maybe that may be what I would call it now. Maybe in 3 months I'd have a different title for that kind of phase. Right. So right now it would be, if I wrote it a year ago, it'd be the name of my album a year ago, it'd be Timeless. It should be how things look different over time, how different experiences, right now it's going to appear so different to you in 5 years. You're going to look back on high school and it's going to be a totally different perspective. So maybe that's what I would call it. Yes.
What drove you to get into jazz music?
What drove me? Well, you know, it's funny. Jazz kind of found me because I studied classical music and I also loved singing a lot of different genres. And then after I did I sang for the inauguration in 2013. And after I did that, I got called by a lot of jazz organizations like Jazz at Lincoln Center and Juilliard Jazz Program to tour with them and sing with them. And I was like, interesting, because I wasn't singing jazz on that gig. I was singing like a choral, classical, soulful kind of combination type thing. So sometimes you go where you are called. So you never want to say, oh, I don't do that, or I don't sing that, or I don't just, even if you don't or you never had, just say, yes, I do, and take the job. I've had that happen. People say, oh, do you play this percussion? Do you play pandero, which is like a certain type of percussion, and he had never played before. I was like, yeah. They were like, all right, well, let's meet up next month. He was like, okay, and then he spent the next month like learning how to play this instrument. But that's good. So I actually didn't necessarily choose jazz. I feel like jazz chose me to come and represent, but I still keep it as my own style. Yeah. Yes.
What has been the biggest venue you've performed at?
Probably the inauguration. That thing, I mean, I don't even know if that's a venue. It's just like a land. You know what I mean? There's no ceiling. There's no roof. When I was singing at Brooklyn Tabernacle, I mean, I'm touring now, so I can't dare. I mean, that particular church holds 3,500 people, and they have 3 services. So on average, you're singing for about 10,000 people a weekend. And that's not including like the overflow area that they have across the street. So that's like a consistent thing. But I would say the inauguration was crazy. Like you couldn't, it was just a wave of, like just a sea of people. It wasn't even like an audience anymore. It was just like something else. And that didn't include like how many people were watching. So obviously that's the biggest performance I've ever done. Yeah.
How were you chosen to sing with the inauguration?
Well, it's kind of crazy. We were invited, the choir was invited to sing months before the president was chosen, so it wasn't like anybody had like a particular political affiliation. They just said, okay, fine, we'll do it. And then they recorded the album before we did it so that it'd be ready, ready to sell. But so I went in and they asked me to do it because of this particular sound that they wanted. And then months went by, and then 10 days before the inauguration, they told me I was going to sing a solo. So I thought they were going to fly in somebody famous or whatever to sing. They were like, Beyonce's going to be up there, and then Kelly Clarkson's going to be up there. So I thought they were going to like a guest singer sing the solo that I sang, and I'm okay with that. Like, you don't really own any music anyway. You think you do, but you don't. There's no solo that's yours. So when they asked me 10 days prior, though, I was freaking out. I was like, I have 10 days to get my mind wrapped around the performance. Vocally, that's one thing. Your mentality is like totally different. So I don't really know what made them just, decide, let's just go with one of our own. But I'm glad they did. Yes.
How do you prepare for like a performance mentally?
It depends on what it is. If it's live, that's a totally different experience. Like if it's TV or anything TV, that's a little bit scarier because you might get nervous and say something crazy, so you kind of have to keep yourself calm so you don't say something crazy on TV that goes on YouTube and everybody watches it over and over again. So I think I try to remind myself why I'm doing it, because the more you think it's about you, the more freaked out you're going to get. That's like what I have learned. I used to be psycho right before a show. Like I wouldn't talk to anybody. You don't even know this side of me. He met me after this, thank God. But when I was in high school and when I was in my undergrad, I wouldn't talk to anybody. I would go into my own room. I thought that was my process. I would be so nervous that my stomach would be ruined for like days. I would be like testy and temperamental and snapping at my mom and all kind of stuff. And I thought to myself, do I really need to go through this every time? Like this is gonna be like a long road if I'm torturing myself. So your process, whatever it is, if you make sure you remember why you're doing it and what it's really about, like one of the things you start telling myself was, if I hit a wrong note, nobody will get cancer. Like that's a strange thing to say to yourself, but you kind of have to put it in like realistic perspective. Like, so you missed a note. Another thing you used to say was, okay, well, if I mess up, I doubt that anybody in the audience on their deathbed would be like, I remember that girl. She was terrible. Like, no one's gonna do that. Like, you have to put it in perspective. Like, no one is really, it's not that big a deal. You know? Maybe that's morbid. I'm really morbid, like, when I'm doing it. Like, another time I used to think, like, in the middle of the show, what if, like, one of the lights came down and, like, killed somebody? But nobody would remember my solo anyway. So, like, that happened to, like, Kristen Chenoweth, didn't it? Didn't she get hit in the head? Kristen Chenoweth, she was on The Good Wife, and a light hit her in the head. Came down. She's so little, I'm surprised, you know, whatever. But anyway, the point is, you have to put it into perspective. I don't know, everybody has different processes. I've come to find this out from working with a slew of artists. But I think if your process is torturous, you gotta find another process. And I feel like if it's stressful and it's overwhelming, you're thinking too much about yourself. And the reason why you're getting on the stage to perform is not about you. It's about that person who just maybe did find out that they have cancer, or maybe that person who, you know, think just are so depressed and they need to hear something, or maybe that person just wants to escape the noise that's going on inside of their own mind. That's why you're there. Or else you can stay home and sing. If it's just for you, no one's gonna pay you for that. But, you know, so you have to remember why you're doing it. But I've gone through some series of processes, and the one I'm in now is like, let's just have fun. Let's just enjoy this, because it's over like that. Performance is like, oh, good night Detroit, or whatever, it's over the minute you get up there. So yeah, now my process is pretty laid back. Yeah, just show up. Yes.
So did you say you had a degree?
I do. I have a master's from Manhattan School of Music. That's what got me to New York. So I didn't want to just go there with a dream, because for me, I come from a family of educators, and they weren't going to let that happen.
Yeah.
But they sent me to New York, and New York is great because your peers, your friends that you sit next to, they're the ones who you're going to hire and the ones who are going to hire you. That's like pretty much what I believe, my opinion. If you decide to go to school to study music in the upper educational realm, what you're doing is you're creating an incredible network that you're going to have for the rest of your career. I met him in school. He saved me. I had my recital. The guitarist I had did not prepare, and then he showed up to the rehearsal. He was terrible, and he was like, I don't play this kind of music. No, he just didn't practice. And so they were like, well, there's this one kid. He's really young. He just came here. I mean, he's really good though. And so I pulled him in at the last minute, and he saved the day. And from that point on, I was like, I will never go anywhere without you. We've been playing together now for what?
Almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years. Ooh. I'm not going anywhere without this guy. Unless I absolutely have to, but other than that, I don't know. But these are people that,
How hard was it for you to get in Manhattan School?
The thing is, it's not hard sometimes. Like, I had good technique, and I had a good history behind me. I was at University of Missouri-Columbia, Mizzou, at a really good time. So they were just doing this world premiere opera or operetta type of thing to celebrate the Lewis and Clark expedition, and I got the lead role. And then I was touring and did all this cool stuff while I was still in school. But then you go to New York and you're back at the bottom of the tub, So it's not hard to get in, but it is difficult, I think, to get a scholarship sometimes if you are a woman. And that's because there's so many female vocalists that audition. And they have like the number system. I think it's like for every 20, there's like 100, if you're sitting, watching, and auditioning, I'm sure as you've experienced, you'll see 100 sopranos to like 20 mezzo sopranos. And then maybe you'll see 100 sopranos before you see 10 tenors, and maybe you'll have 5 bass baritones. So if they just give it to the men. It's just, because they want them and but now I think they're being a bit more open, but it's just the sheer number and how rare it is to have a young bass baritone. It takes so long for the voice to even get that low and full, so a lot of times the scholarship money doesn't necessarily go first to a lot of sopranos or mezzo sopranos, so it's not hard to get in, it's just hard to afford it. So, but once you get in there, just take out some loans, and spend the rest of your life paying it back.
By young bonny banks and by young bonny braes, where the sun shines bright on Loch Lomond, where me and me true love were ever wont to gae, on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond.
Oh, you'll take the high road, and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland afore ye. But me and my true love will never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond.
'Twas there that we parted in yon shady glen, on the steep, steep sides of Lomond, where deep in purple hue the highland hills we view, and the moon coming out in the gloaming. Oh, ye'll take the high road, and I'll take the low. Be in Scotland, but I true love will never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond.
The river sing and the wildflowers spring, and in sunshine the waters lie sleeping. But the broken heart will ken a second spring again, and the world knows not how we are grieved.
Take the high road,
Wait, how much time do we have?
Like 2 minutes.
Oh man, that was
I know.
so great.
Everything must change. Nothing stays the same. Everyone will change. No one and nothing goes unchanged. The young become the old. Mysteries do unfold, but that's the way with time. Nothing and no one goes unchanged. There are not many things in life we can be sure of. Except the rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky, and hummingbirds do fly. The rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky, and hummingbirds do The rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky, and hummingbirds do fly. Everything must change. Nothing stays the same. Everything must change.